This is a cool tune. This is Spooky from early. It was done by a couple different people, but the main one that most of us heard first was the Classics 4 version. There was an earlier version by a sax player who wrote it, Mike Shapiro, came out as an instrumental back in 1966, but then a couple guys in the Classics 4, James Cobb and their producer Buddy Buey, decided, hey, we need to write some lyrics to this cool tune, and wrote these spooky lyrics proposed on Halloween. And it really became a big hit, one of 3 big hits for the Classics 4. Great singer in the band, Dennis Yost, but they really only hit it big with those 3 tunes. This was, of course, Spooky, Stormy, and Traces. May get to lessons on those somewhere down the line. It was re-recorded a little bit later by the Atlanta Rhythm Section, which consisted really of some of the musicians from the Classics 4 without Dennis. And so that version became popular in the early 70s, maybe 70... I should have looked it up. Anyway, so it's done in a couple of different keys. Now the Classics 4 version is done starting on an F minor 7 chord, and the Atlanta Rhythm Section started it in on E minor, and then eventually bumped it up a half step. We're going to talk about playing it using only the 4 chords that you need in the E minor version. And what I want you to try to do first is figure out a couple of different ways, because what we're going to talk about in this lesson is a really easy way of playing it, just strumming it with some chords that are mostly open. We do need a couple of bar chords, but they're not too, you got plenty of time to get to them when they happen. So you need E minor 7, A13, B minor 7, and an A sharp diminished 7. So the first thing I want you to do is figure out what notes you need in those 4 chords. E minor 7 needs 4 notes. A13 needs 5 notes. B minor 7, you probably already know a couple of good ways to play that. The E minor 7 probably as well. And the A sharp diminished 7 is a 4-note chord as well. There really are only 2 common ways, not really, there are a few others, but there are 2 main ways of playing a diminished 7 chord. So figure out what notes you need. We'll talk about this in the next section. We'll talk about some of the different ways of playing the chords. You probably saw I was playing the main 2 chords back and forth as bar chords up the neck, and that was the E minor 7 and the A13. And but there are much easier ways to play those chords. They just won't quite have the percussion that we can put in. And so we're going to talk about a very simple, almost a campfire way of just strumming this. But also, I'm going to talk about the way I was playing it with my right hand, and I'm actually using all 4 fingers there. My little finger as well, to be able to play 5 notes at a time, not strumming them, but plucking them. So we'll talk about the right hand technique and a little bit of percussion in there too, of slapping on the strings every once in a while. That will be towards the end of the lesson. First we're going to talk about just playing the chords, and we'll give you some other hints on those 4 chords coming up in the next segment. E minor 7, A13, B minor 7, and what's the other one? A sharp diminished 7. That was the first segment on a lesson I put together on this really neat tune, Spooky. And in it we talk about a bunch of different ways of playing the chords. In particular, getting used to trying the hard version is learning to play with your 4 fingers. Learning to do a little picking pattern that has all 4 fingers playing. But we also take a look at a Campfire version, just strumming the chords and singing. That's like it makes it about a level 3 or 4 song. The fingerstyle version, more of a 6 or something. But if you'd like to take a look at this lesson, it's part of the Target program, our monthly subscription program. It also is available individually if you just want to take a look at Spooky. We also have packs of various songs, a lot of stuff over at TotallyGuitars, over 600 song lessons right now. So really encourage you to come check it out, but particularly if you're interested in some of the stuff that we went into in Spooky, we went into some chord formulas, trying to figure out different ways of playing the chords that work as strumming. Anyway, a lot of different things in this lesson. So come out, check us at TotallyGuitars when you can.